Irigaray's Between East and West, From Singularity to Community, is a rich and contemplative exploration of the intersections between cultural philosophy, spirituality, and the politics of identity. Drawing from Eastern and Western traditions, Irigaray challenges rigid dichotomies and proposes a vision for understanding the self and the other in ways that honor both individuality and interconnectedness. The book traverses themes such as cultural difference, the body's role in spiritual practice, and the ethics of relationality, culminating in a call for new ways of being together in a globalized, yet deeply divided world. The introduction lays out Irigaray's intention to bridge the philosophical and cultural divides between East and West. She critiques the dominance of Western metaphysical thinking, with its emphasis on universality, abstraction, and control, contrasting it with Eastern traditions that prioritize balance, harmony, and the integration of body and spirit. Irigaray posits that the path toward genuine community lies in learning from the East's attunement to singularity and relationality, while rethinking Western individualism and its ethical implications. She sets the stage for an exploration of how these philosophical paradigms might converge to foster a more inclusive and compassionate global community. In the first chapter, Irigaray begins with an analysis of singularity, emphasizing its importance in the development of identity and the formation of relationships. Singularity, as she describes, is not about isolation or solipsism, but about cultivating one's unique essence in a way that respects and enhances the individuality of others. Drawing on her feminist critique of Western philosophy, Irigaray critiques the ways in which patriarchal structures suppress singularity, particularly for women. She also engages with Eastern thought, particularly practices that encourage the realization of one's inner self through meditation and mindfulness, suggesting that such practices can inform a more embodied and ethical approach to subjectivity in the West. The second chapter explores the role of the body in shaping spiritual and relational experience. Irigaray critiques the Western philosophical tradition for its dualistic separation of mind and body, which she argues has led to a devaluation of corporeal existence and its connection to spirituality. She contrasts this with Eastern practices, such as yoga and breathwork, which recognize the body as integral to spiritual and communal life. Irigaray reflects on the significance of breathing as a bridge between the self and the world, a recurring motif in her work, and explores how conscious breathing can foster presence, relationality, and attunement to others. This chapter underscores her belief in the transformative potential of embodied practices for creating deeper connections between individuals and cultures. The third chapter examines the dynamics of cultural difference, focusing on how East and West perceive and relate to the other. Irigaray critiques Western universalism for its tendency to impose its values and frameworks on other cultures, often erasing their uniqueness in the process. She advocates for an approach to cultural difference that is rooted in respect, curiosity, and dialogue, rather than domination or assimilation. Drawing from Eastern philosophies of balance and interdependence, Irigaray suggests that the West has much to learn from these traditions about coexisting with difference. She also reflects on how these insights might inform the construction of a global community that values plurality and mutual understanding. In the fourth chapter, Irigaray delves into the ethical and spiritual dimensions of relationality. She critiques traditional ethical frameworks for their reliance on abstract principles that often fail to account for the complexities of lived relationships. Instead, she proposes an ethics of relationality that is rooted in attentiveness to the other's singularity and needs. Irigaray draws on both Eastern and Western traditions to articulate a vision of relationality that is both grounded and transcendent, emphasizing the importance of love, care, and mutual respect. This chapter highlights her belief in the transformative power of relationality to heal divisions and create a more compassionate world. The fifth chapter explores the challenges of fostering community in a world that is increasingly interconnected, yet deeply divided. Irigaray critiques the ways in which globalization often exacerbates cultural and social inequalities, emphasizing the need for new forms of community that honor difference. While fostering solidarity, she reflects on the potential of spiritual and philosophical practices to support this vision, particularly those that encourage self-awareness, humility, and openness to the other. Irigaray also examines the role of education and dialogue in creating spaces for mutual understanding and collaboration, suggesting that these are essential for building a more inclusive and equitable global community. In the sixth chapter, Irigaray returns to the theme of spirituality, exploring its potential to bridge the divides between East and West. She critiques traditional religious frameworks for their tendency to reinforce hierarchical and patriarchal structures, arguing that spirituality must be reimagined in ways that honor both singularity and community. Irigaray reflects on the role of rituals, symbols, and practices in fostering spiritual connection, drawing on insights from both Eastern and Western traditions. This chapter underscores her belief in the transformative power of spirituality to create deeper and more meaningful relationships, both within and across cultures. The seventh and final chapter serves as a meditation on the possibilities and limitations of Irigaray's project. She acknowledges the challenges of bridging the divides between East and West, emphasizing the need for patience, humility, and perseverance. At the same time, she affirms her belief in the transformative potential of dialogue, relationality, and spiritual practice to create a more inclusive and compassionate world. Irigaray concludes with a call for continued exploration and experimentation, inviting readers to join her in imagining new ways of being together that honor both singularity and community.